Hello, everybody. Welcome into the Splinterlands, the YGG SPL Weekly Podcast. My name is RoguePatton. I am joined by my co-host, Mr. Damour.
Hello, everybody. What's up?
I am also joined by our new co-host, super regular, awesome guy, Virus.
Hey, what's going on, guys?
And maybe the other co-host, Tails. I mean, honestly, we were starting to get a real regular crew here. So, Tails, welcome, brother.
Thanks. I'm just here because I heard all the cool kids were hanging out tonight.
It really is. Honestly, I apologize, guys, for going late, like 5 minutes on the go live button. It happens all the time. All right. Get in here with a bunch of cool guys. We start talking Splinterlands, and it's like, crap, we're supposed to be talking Splinterlands on camera. We could just literally have this conversation after I hit that button. And I'm always just late. I love talking to these guys about Splinterlands. So, but my apologies. But anyway, it's been a good week in Pretoria. We got a town hall on Monday after a 2-week break going into this. Less of an intensive maintenance, actually nothing really significant happening in the maintenance. But have you guys gone to your land plots and listened to the music of your land? I haven't done that yet.
Oh, there's music on the land. I didn't know that. Interesting. Okay.
Virus, have you listened to yours?
Yeah, I went through each of the different areas to see how they sounded. And I even noticed, too, that the occupied and magical plots have a little extra thing at the beginning of going into their area.
A jingle.
Yep.
Nice.
Okay, so what is it different like per type or per region? Like,
so each geography type, like a bog versus a forest versus a jungle,
Okay.
each thing has its own music
Sound.
or background sound. But the occupied and the magical have like the occupieds have like a roar or whatever, like the guy's roar before it starts up, and then the magical has like it's hard to describe. It's like a zip sound in the beginning.
All right.
Nice.
Not bad. So yeah, I totally expected like maybe they go by region, and I would imagine like Central Vire's like very heavy on the drums, like definitely a drum region, right? I'm wondering if which of the regions is very heavy on the flute or the harp.
Water sounds flute to me, or should be flute.
Yeah, whatever region's heavy on the water. Let's go. But no, I'm glad. I'm gonna have to run by and see. Was there any difference in rarity, or was it just?
I didn't notice any difference in rarity, but I think Tails would have to say if there was any difference in Mythic lands.
Oh yeah, he's the keep holder, right? What does the keep sound like?
I have no idea. It's on my
list. Don't care.
Nice.
Don't care. Too busy.
All right. Yeah, if anybody in the chat knows, let us know. Is your keeper castle sound awesome? Or
I will say though, if you need to de-stress, just head to a jungle. Just hang out there for a while, or a plains.
Oh, nice.
Pretty cool.
Nice. I wonder if I go there. No, I got everything muted. I wouldn't be able to. But yeah, I'm gonna have to go there. All right, so go hang out to the jungle. Wait, so I'm not gonna get like. I hope I don't get this wrong. I think that's Guns N' Roses, right? Welcome to the jungle. We got fun games. Just like you're like, ooh, Splinterlands. You're gonna get sued twice this month. Crap.
Yeah.
That's the Easter egg.
That's the Easter egg. Just got Guns N' Roses in the jungle. Go
find Guns N' Roses in the jungle.
Dude, that would be great. Like, hey, Warner Music, man, anything's possible. Like, go exploring our land, and all of a sudden we get like some pop star or whatever on our land. Like, oh my goodness, I don't even know any of the mainstream guys right now. So I can't even tell you who I'd find.
Waka's somewhere in the bog.
Yeah, let's go.
Please, no more Waka. No more Waka.
Yeah. Secret of Pretoria is a song playing. Oh my goodness, that'd be great. Yeah, you're just the Secret of Pretoria is like Justin Bieber somewhere. You're just like, no, bad.
No, we don't want that secrets. We don't want that secrets.
But yeah, no, I actually really like. I'm falling in love with the way they've reworded that. It's like Pretoria's Secret. is flipping great. We could brand that so well. Like Praetoria's Secret is I think Aggie coined it in a town hall once. At the very beginning of a town hall. He was the first person I heard say it. I was like, this is amazing. It should just be wrote like that in the white paper. It's not the secret of Pretoria. It's Praetoria's Secret. But yeah, so other than that, nothing crazy from a like new ads perspective. But we did get some alpha on some upcoming stuff. We got Land, where they talked about specifically on the release of 1.5 that they hope to right out the gate have delegation and rentals kind of figured out. I thought that was actually pretty cool, but I kind of assumed that, you know. But I guess it was nice to hear from the developer that that was going to land. But I'm almost curious because the land market, it seems, has kind of the fire's been quenched a little bit. Everything's kind of lulling down from the mania of surveying and all that. And so I wonder if you guys have kind of noticed the same thing. I think land's kind of finding its floor. Cards are now finding like a new floor. Like that hype is kind of gone at this point, and like we're starting to settle on new bottoms for some gold foils. I never got to sell my Fungus Fiend at 80. I just got screwed out of that one. So darn it, I still got a Fungus Fiend. But what's your guys' take on where we're at with land right now?
I mean, I think the land delegation and rental lock thing is your delegate tell land, but with it being that you can actually have the cards rented out or delegated to land is a huge step forward, because what it allows landowners to do then is to do a land scholar program manually. So you won't be able to delegate or rent your plots of land out, but you can kind of come the inverse way in. So you could basically have your land and basically share profits or resources, with people that, are delegating or renting you cards. Not necessarily the rental side, but more the delegation side. So I think that's a huge thing. If they're bringing that forward into 1.5, I think it's going to make for some very interesting recruitment that's going to happen. Kind of like how people recruit for guilds right now. I think you're going to have the same thing happen for land.
I wonder if it's going to have to follow along the lines of like a Nifty or like something really intentional, because I think one of the things I noticed with season rentals is once you gave everyone the option of like doing daily or season, there wasn't a lot of people that actually jumped onto season. I don't know. Have you guys noticed that? Like, I think seasonal rentals are not really being utilized at all. So I'm actually wondering if the same thing would happen here. Are people intentionally going to list a card as being rentable for land if they didn't move to being rented for an entire season? You know what I mean?
Well, I think it's probably going to be used more in a prearranged setting where you arrange outside of the game through Discord or through whatever, basically an agreement to say, hey, delegate me your cards for this plot of land. I'll put them on here, and then you'll
straight
get
delegation, not
straight delegation. Yeah,
no.
I mean,
okay.
I don't know what the profit margin would be to rent production points necessarily. If people rented cards for super cheap, then it might make sense. But I think most of the cases it'll be land scholars with delegation agreements would be my guess.
Yeah, I think it would require a third-party tool. I think would be that ultimate like jump into this, would be able to set up those kind of auto reward delegations from that kind of a split. Being able to set that stuff up and have a contract work that automatically instead of like requiring spreadsheets and all that. Like if they make you guys, if no one develops that tool and you guys have to track that like manually, I pray for you.
Yeah, it sounds frustrating at best.
It would be painful, but it honestly would probably be worth it for the landowners to do it. But yeah, I mean, obviously, if Peak Monsters or Splex could do something to automate that or track it, all the better. But honestly, I would do it manually, just to make sure. I mean, because both users in a land scholar arrangement are going to benefit. The landowner is going to get more net production off the land, more than likely. Otherwise, they wouldn't do it. And the person delegating the cards is going to be able to participate in land benefits without having to own land. So, in theory, as long as the returns are greater than renting your cards or playing with those cards. And in most cases, the CP that you're going to get from people are probably going to be like reward cards or stuff they have on the side that they're not using. So it's really just being more profitable than renting the cards, basically, is all the bar you have to get past.
Yeah. Virus?
I was going to say, I don't know. I think the renting is actually going to be a big thing. If you were to look right now at Peak Monsters, a max level gold foil common rewards card is 1.4 DEC per day. Yeah. If it can produce more grain than that, and you can basically set that card as being a 4 land rental, you could probably double, maybe do 5 DEC a day for it. You'd have to calculate what the PP is for the cost, but if it's producing a good amount more for those cards that don't rent for very much, you could see a separate rental market for higher amounts, but I don't know if it's scalable for large landholders.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. I was just gonna say, because what'll happen is there's going to be arbitrage in the market, because a land rental card is going to have to be something you specify when you rent the card. None of the cheap rentals are going to come over to migrate to that. So the person owning the card is going to have to manually change that or set that. And someone doing that's going to know the value of that gold foil legendary on land. So you'll probably see the prices. Like, for example, let's say that card can generate on a common plot of land, let's say, 10 DEC a day, you might see someone listed at like 8 DEC a day. So to give the landowner some profitability to grabbing the card versus not grabbing it. So you'll probably see some of that arbitrage happen in the market for those cards.
It'd be interesting. I'm still having a hard time because of where I think our player base is at. I'm having a hard time imagining somebody that owns max level cards that they're not playing with, or cards that would perform well on land but not own a piece of land. That's kind of where I'm still struggling with that idea that there's going to be people that'll have cards to work but not the plots to work them.
I mean, if you look on Peak Monsters right now, there's 594 gold foil Venari Heatsmiths that are max level that are 1.57 DEC per day. Mm-hmm. So are you thinking that the people that own those are going to pull those off to work land immediately?
Yeah, I can't imagine and that's where, like, in my head, who owns a max level gold foil common that doesn't own a plot of land?
Yeah, that'll be the interesting part to see. I mean, there's some people that might own a few plots, but then own more than what they would work their land with.
Yeah, I think that's where you're going to see the differences. For example, if someone has, let's say, 5 plots of land, maybe, or 10 plots of land, but maybe, they fill those plots quickly and they still have leftover cards. Those are the type of players that would be, you'd want to work in arrangement with, where they have excess cards in that case. And maybe it's only another 5 plots of land, that they'll be able to work. But, that's 5 less plots if you're a tractor region owner that you have to deal with on your own.
Yeah, it's interesting, though. It's like from the narratives that I've talked to anybody, I know 0 people that have enough cards to work all their land plots. Like I was in that position. I owned 2 land plots. I had enough cards to fully work those. But because of the market, the way that it was, I now have 4 going for 5, and I don't have all the cards for 5 now, right? So it's like I was, but then because of the prices, I put myself into a position now where land outpaces my cards. And I don't know a single nobody has come outright and said in chats, in anything, that like I have cards and no land. I always hear it the other way, right? So that's where it's going to be interesting to see. Like, because
well, that bodes well for the game though, Rogue,
yes,
because
yes,
if everyone has land but no one has all the cards needed for the land, well, guess what happens to card prices and value?
Yeah.
I
So
mean,
the
other
only
thing
question here is the soul bounds. Then it's like, is there people that by having the soul bounds locked, not being able to sell and accumulating for so long, when they become usable, tradable, whatever, are they then going to have a surplus and essentially a fork in the road, right? So they've now reached the end of the soulbound print run, and they say, okay, I have a surplus. Do I sell the surplus, or do they work land for other people, right? Like, that's where I could see us maybe getting people buying cards in surplus right now without land. I don't know why.
The other thing to think about too is that I might have a max level gold foil Pellicore Deceiver that I've always had, but I only have forests and lakes. So the choice I have is either do I sell it to try to buy the card that works my land, or do I rent that one out? And then for the same DEC, do I rent the card that can work my land?
Okay. I can see that. Not bad.
Player-wise, the daily average is, sort of settling, I guess, around the 70K, 50K. It was over the last couple of days. So definitely lower than what we've had before.
And that might tank to more in the next month when SPS player staking comes online.
Yeah, but SPS player staking doesn't do anything out the gate, right? They're just building the foundation, but they still haven't set any of those gates. So,
well, once technically it's live and you can rent and delegate SPS, that's the next thing that's coming. That's the next shoe to drop. So I guess all I'm saying is be prepared for these numbers to go down even further potentially within the next 60, 90 days.
Yeah. I would say I've seen a benefit from the drop in players that we have right now. Bronze is actually Bronze is doing very well for the amount of SPS that you get per win. I've actually very much been happy with the rewards down in Bronze. Like, the chests are still like meh, but I've actually now, my third Pokemon is only Bronze, and I've got it doing like the plan where it's playing 76 games a day or something along those lines, and it's at max Bronze already, and it's bringing in over 0.1 SPS per win, right? So I'm definitely winning more than 50%, but even if I was at 50%, that's 3, 4, 5 SPS a day, that we're getting in Bronze for spending half a penny on 50 DEC, so half a penny for 15 cents worth of SPS. That actually is nice. And then all the chests are just icing on the cake.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep. It's one of those things where I don't want to poke the sleeping bear or wake the sleeping giant or whatever the phrase is, because like look, Rogue, if you're doing that successfully with your Pokemon farm, I mean, the large bot farms, if they really had a long-term vision, could instantly spin up and really go to town. It would cost them basically the money that they would be renting usually in buying the extra chests, but the extra soulbound reward cards they could get would be tremendous. And
and it'd be a long play.
It would be a long play, but honestly, it would be a smart play for them since they're already basically free rolling the game. So, but I don't want to give them any advice or anything. I'm just saying,
poke that bear.
Yeah, but it's crazy though. I mean, it's a great opportunity for everyone, really, if you wanted to do that, because like you said, it's a no brainer, right? If you have the time or the resources, Yeah, I mean, why wouldn't you?
Yep. Gathering the Magic here is saying, would it be better to have a level 4 gold foil epic? It would get you 2,400 PP and only cost 4,000 DEC for your plot, not 10k. Yeah, there's definitely a lot of logic there in terms of if the staking of DEC is going to be like one of your big hangups, like region owners, tract owners, you know, people who have that. Like, honestly, Tails, you said it in one of your videos, how much DEC do you need to run all max levels on all your land?
I think it's 10 million if it's max level, but to be honest with you, as I'm going through it, like Magic the Gathering says here, I mean, there's a lot of cases where I'm using things like epics and rares that might be, you know, not max level, that drastically reduces the stake DEC required. Now, granted, I'm not getting max PP off that plot of land, but at the same time, it's still working, it's still generating resources, so it's not terrible.
Yeah, in answer to your question, Magic, you can definitely get the job done without Viagra. You know, there's plenty of other stuff on the market. You don't have to go max PP. You can just go normal PP and get it done. All right, buddy. But the that's where I'm looking at like the soulbound legendary gold foils. Like, those are, I think, one of the best pools that you can have in game right now, because it's straight 1 BCX 2,500 PP. And I feel like I'm holding 1,000, like a max level common, as the, like, that's the base minimum for me. I feel like if you're working anything less than 1,000, you might be kind of cutting yourself short or getting lost in the taxes. But yeah.
I mean, those are great. You DEC to stake that card basically, and you're getting great value. So
yeah,
on the production side.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're looking at Chaos Legion rewards too, you can kind of combine the two. Is you can combine the amount of DEC, so let's say it's 10k DEC plus the cost of the card. Because right now I'm buying cards to try to work my land, and so I'm at the point where I'm not just looking at what I have. I'm looking at what's out there and the total cost between the two. So if the cost of a level 4 epic gold foil plus the X amount of DEC, if that's less than a max common gold foil plus the 10k DEC, then I might do that. But I think if you just have the cards, if you had the gold foil epic that was level 4 and you get the reduced amount of DEC, then yeah, that'd be great to use.
Yeah.
And I think what you just hinted on, Virus, is something interesting for this new version of the game, or this new game mode. And it's not for everyone, I would say, is there's a lot of math and spreadsheets and planning and thinking involved. So if that's not what you enjoy, then land in Splinterlands is probably not going to be very enjoyable for you. But if you like that type of thing,
I recommend, if that's not you, just get a couple. Like, don't just stay away from it entirely. Not financial advice, but this is something you probably want to participate in. Just get a couple. Like, get one. Like, be a rogue. Just a couple plots, and like, you'll be great. Don't try to be a track manager. Be a landlord.
That takes a lot.
Just get your one and be like, yeah, my grain, or yeah, my SPS. Just real simple.
Keep it simple, Simon.
Because I'm in that boat. Like, if I had a track, I would just be dead in math right now. I'd just be like, man, paralyzed. It would be terrible. Terrible. Because it's funny. You have to kind of be a whale or rich, or like, it's an echelon.
A lot of assets.
Yeah. You have to have some nice assets to own a track, right? But then the requirement is to have more assets. So it's not like you just get to be like, I bought it. I spent. You're like, no, now I have to go now. It's got to be even more. It's
multiple
crazy.
lanes.
Yeah, this is one of those equations where faking it is not going to be making it because, like you said,
No.
if you extended yourself to get a tract, and I'm probably
Mhm.
guilty of that, now I'm really extending myself to work the tract. So
Yeah.
Nice.
So
yeah.
one interesting thing too is that I noticed out of buying cards lately like that was I was starting to get the old bot farm owners that were selling me cards. So I think there's probably some of those old bot farm owners that saw the increase in reward card prices, and they're starting to release some of what they've been holding for a while.
Yeah, that's what I saw too.
Okay.
I saw that too. So yeah, we are being asked, what do you guys think about the 100K PP cap?
love it.
I love it.
You know, it's great for all of us, and I don't think it's that big of change. I think there's a chance that there's going to be a few people that might have done something like that, but it's nice that they took that out and at least let everyone have a fair shot at getting rewards.
Well, it's not approved and official yet, but hopefully it does become that way. But yeah, I mean, I think it's a good move, proactive move, rather than making it just another alpha gold foil version of the game where just the whales just devour everything. It makes it more of an even playing field. So if, let's say, 99% of the game benefits from this change, it's definitely obviously a good thing. So I'm in favor of it.
Yep, I agree. And he said it's mainly for like the 1.5. Once we get past this, we'll have probably so many forks in the road that if somebody decides to just go max gold foil legendary alphas on a single plot, there's going to be so many things to do in game that maybe that won't be an issue. We'll find out.
Yeah, and it's interesting from an analysis I can share when I went through it and I did the math for my stuff. When I identified, whatever Rooney, totem, this, that, whatever, the max I could get on a piece of land was, I think, because of the land modifiers and such, because of how it skews the cards you can put on it. I think the best I could do with my stuff was like 88K. And that's out of all my cards. Like I just don't have the type of cards that land really wants, right? Or land's rewarding. So, that was a little bit of an eye opener for me. I was like, oh, I've got some big stuff. I was like, nope, CP means nothing here. It's all this legendary alpha stuff or whatever. And I'm like, I got none of that. So
people have been buying to play the game, not to farm land. It's a very, very two different buying, procedures. What you're looking for is very different.
So we're gonna be in a weird spot when land comes, and it's like, all right, like how much of like the big dogs, them diamond champion decks are being like taken apart to farm. You know what I mean? Like, what is the competition scene gonna look like going forward? Like, that's what I'm most looking forward to seeing. It'd be pretty interesting. So not everyone can afford 10K DEC staked for each monster. So just stake what you can afford. Amen, brother.
And that pertains to all of land, actually. I mean, don't overextend yourself. Don't go buying monsters that you can't
all
afford.
Things crypto.
Yeah. I mean, let's see what land returns from an ROI perspective. Let's see what kind of revenue you can generate from it, and then adjust. Now you might miss some quote deals or bargains in the card market because of that, but at least you're not basically handicapping yourself in advance.
Yeah. And like I think one of the biggest things that I've learned, again, not financial advice, in this space is like being liquid and being agile is probably like the best approach. And so I didn't move on anything monster wise or anything to like tie my hands like DECB. I did not move on that because that would have, while we wait, that would have tied my hands, right? And as things were coming out, like I needed those funds. Like Vruz happened after DECB. I needed those funds to like be able to make a big position in Vruz, right? Like, and I wouldn't have had that if they were locked up in DECB, right? So you never know what's coming around the corner. And so like make sure that, you know, you're like, don't chase a deal if it ties your hands for the next deal, you know? So.
Well, and here's the thing with Splinterlands too that I think everyone should always keep in the back of their mind. I mean, just look between, let's say now and maybe the beginning of June, which is just the next, let's say 6 weeks. I mean, you're gonna have potential buying opportunities for a new promo card, right? Which, you know, promo cards, generally speaking, are not inexpensive. And then you're gonna have potentially a new promo card set. So if you don't have dry powder or something on the side that you can leverage, these are things you're going to just have to sit out otherwise. So, you know, it's you know, the struggle is real for sure. So
Chuni's in the chat says, looks like you can still claim an XBot token for less than the current ask price. Can you still claim the XBot token? I know nothing about XBot.
Yeah, I'd have to check their site. If they still have XBot Lite tokens available on their site to purchase, they may be cheaper than buying on Hive Engine on the secondary markets.
Wow. See, I didn't realize they were. What is their floor? What is their asking price from the company?
I think the Lite token was like 40 on the last sale. It's been a while since I checked, but it's on their site.
And
So
what's it like?
By now,
the Lite
Xbox Lite is $40 and the Xbox token is $100.
and the difference between the Lite and the regular?
Lite only plays up to gold league level.
Okay.
And there's no reward share, right? With with that token, it's just a one-time fee.
Yes.
One-time fee, and that's it. Yeah, that's the difference between Archmage and Xbox, as far as I know.
Chuni says 94 Hive for Lite. All right, sweet.
Okay.
I might have to look that up because right now I've got one Archmage, and then I've got the other two on Splintermate. Splintermate's meh, but I don't know if it's worth putting money into advanced tokens because realistically, I've only got the one bronze deck that's really, really full in my alt accounts. So that's the only one I really care to bot with a higher end bot. But
what I don't know if it's worth it in the grand scheme of things. It depends on how long you're going to farm Rogue. But what I can tell you is, for $40, a one BCX starter deck with XBot Lite, if you give it the CP, will farm into gold 1.
Wow. Okay.
So if you like gold chests, now you're not going to get a lot of gold chests because you're going to get penalized by the R share differences there for under level cards. But if you value, let's say, 2 or 3 gold chests daily more than the bronze chests you would get on Splintermate, then it might be a proposition you look at.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think that's something that I've noticed though. In my farming, that's one of the aspects I hate the most about farming is playing well above your league and getting just those terrible like opening 2 higher end chests. I actually do not prefer versus 20 bronze chests, you know. At the end of the day, like I'm trying to get the cards, and I understand that like pulling one common in one of the gold chests could be like 8 of them, right? But if I got 20 bronze chests, like odds are I'm probably going to get some commons out of that, you know. So I don't know. This is the first season where I'm actually not letting them extend themselves. They are staying in bronze. I'm only doing bronze, and we'll see how this kind of goes for this run. And hopefully maybe I can put the one that's actually pretty full on the leaderboard, and that'll help kind of pay for everything. But
if I can get on the leaderboard, that'll be amazing.
Yeah, it would be the first time in my career I've ever, or anything I've owned has ever been on the leaderboard.
Okay.
I can't say I'm on the leaderboard.
Archmage is on the leaderboard.
Yeah.
Archmage is on the leaderboard, yeah.
Mango Mayhem in the chat. What's going on, brother? So yeah, Chuni saying again, feels like land is putting the game in a holding pattern until the next bull market. Let assets earn while we wait. Yeah, and that's always been my thing. Like I don't, if it's not earning, I don't really like holding it. Ooh, speaking of, like, that was one of the things that they talked about in the town hall. Matt said something about like letting players stake packs in like new guild buildings. Oh, I hate that. I absolutely hate that. I think that is so counterintuitive to the game. Like, the pack is not supposed to be an asset that you hold. It's not something that the company should recognize as like, oh, you're holding on to a pack of cards. Let
That's
me
a good
reward
thing.
you for that.
That's a good
like,
thing. Yeah, it's not.
no.
I'm gonna play devil's advocate, Rogue.
Oh, please. Master Debaters, episode 2. Let's go, bro.
Yes, let's go. You know how that ended poorly for you last time, sir. I don't know.
I had so much love in the chat. Like the comments loved me. They hated you. Like, they were on my side. I don't know who you're talking about.
When you invite your family to the chat, it doesn't count.
My mom is a nice lady. She loves me.
Look, the community already hates Tails. That's, so it's very easy for him to be hated.
So anyway, Tails.
Or make him the bad guy, rather. Not hated. Make him the bad guy.
Rodney Dangerfield here of Splinterlands TV. No, but what I was going to say is, I think what it does is it provides another avenue to add scarcity and demand into the economy. Because what it does is right now you have all these packs, Chaos Legion packs, I don't know, it's like 2 or 3 million sitting on the sidelines, right? Mm-hmm. And they're just getting dumped on the market. Like I said, I sold some the other day and it was a steady stream. I mean, there's buyers for sure at the current prices, a steady stream of buyers on an hourly basis, no doubt. But by having in-game rewards, not necessarily monetary rewards, but like benefits to your guild from a game perspective, what it does is just like staking SPS or anything like that, it adds scarcity and value to whatever's liquid still on the market. So now as a pack owner, I have a choice. If I'm playing the game and I'm part of a guild, now maybe I want to take those cards off of Hive Engine or whatever and stake them in the game to get some benefit. And what it does is it reduces liquidity on what's available for sale, which in turn drives the pack prices up slightly, turn prices. These are all that can be address an issue of oversupply, overprinting, etc. So I don't think it's a bad thing. Again, it's not something you want to reward necessarily SPS or anything monetary in the game. But if it's something like by staking, by having, let's say, 10,000 or 1,000 packs in your guild staked, you get whatever X, Y, or Z as part of your brawl or part of your R share. Maybe it gives you another 2% bonus to your R shares for all your guild members, whatever it happens to be. It has to be something tangible that you'd want to do in the game. I think that's good across the board because, again, scarcity is good for the game.
Sure.
Yeah, but it's counter to the game, right? So like at that point you're just a DeFi project. Like, and that's what we've been battling that line for so long that like the reward for holding packs is the long-term appreciation of it. It takes willpower. It takes like that's you as a player taking off your player hat and putting on an investor hat. And like gathering the magic here kind of brings up a really good point, because those of us in the trading card space that do sell and do make money off of that ecosystem, right? That is a subset of player to be able to do that, right? It's something that we do out of purely financial incentive, is to hold this pack for a really, really long time and sell it later for way more than it's worth right now. Now, for the company that is supposed to be producing a game and cards to play the game, to also incentivize you or create an avenue for you to not, it's not anything that I would hope that the company would never encourage selling their packs not to open them. You know what I mean? That's not right. That's just something players do with long-term visions in their mind, right?
The problem again is the company overprinted the packs and we have an oversupply, and they're trying to figure out ways to deal with that from a tokenomic perspective. And whether you like it or not, I know you bring up the DeFi comments, but this is the reality: is the game right now is more DeFi than game. I mean, that's just fact. And you may not agree with it, but it is fact. And honestly, until they get things like a battle pass or new game modes in place here, it's not going to change. New players aren't streaming into this game to play the game right now, and it's not going to change. So we have to shore up some of the DeFi things to get additional players in, to get things turned around. So then we can, once the game gets all these new game modes and other things ready to go, then we can really start getting new players and seeing the game increase, and then play the game to play the game. I mean, the problem
but pack
is
staking is anti-new player. Like, the new players should not be like, should I open this pack or should I put it into my guild? Like, they need the cards to play.
Yeah, they have plenty of opportunity to buy packs for $2 on the secondary market. It's not like all of a sudden these packs are going to be unavailable. Like, they're not all going to go into guilds. The point is right now, I mean, there's an oversupply. And by doing this,
if you introduce pack staking as something that is almost necessary for guilds going forward, then you're guaranteeing all future sets need to be printed to a level that is more for just than to play the game. You know, like they're now at a point where we can open and play the game. We can open and use them on land, or keep them closed for like guild benefits. Like, I'm seeing more and more pack inflation going forward if they keep adding these types of, like, they're going to have to keep printing more. Like, it's counterintuitive.
That's a separate topic. I think what's going to happen with Splinterlands and packs, for Rebellion and such moving forward, is they're not going to have a print rate on them. They're going to have a print period. They're just going to have them available for 9 months, and whatever they sell in 9 months is what they sell, and then they're done. So I think that argument really doesn't hold merit. It's going to be whatever people want to buy for whatever utility or value they see, whether it's holding them, whether it's staking them, whether it's opening them, using them in ranked battles, using them for land, whatever the case may be. They're going to sell what they're going to sell, and the print rate is going to be the print rate. And honestly, it might be a better thing for the game, because then it's not based on a number; it's based on true utility and demand.
Yeah, and I could see that. I pray that if they ever get to that point, they need to be on a 1-year set release. This 2 years between sets, like, that isn't going to fly if you're like, oh yeah, in 9 months we'll be done. What are we going to do for the rest of the year in 3 months? You know what I mean? Like, they need to be on a 1-year set release schedule if they're going to cap it on a time. You know what I mean? Could just be my thinking.
So a different perspective here from chat. Mango saying there's going to be a diverse spread of players based on preference, PvE or PvP, and that's talking about the land and the card aspect of the game, I'm reckoning.
Yeah.
And one thing too is that, I mean, I don't know, I didn't listen too closely to that part, but I know it was a group of assets. So it was like packs, vouchers, DEC, SBS, something like that. Like, it wasn't just packs. So packs might have a certain value. Let's just say that it was 5,000 points. And a voucher was 100 points and something like that. So it might be that packs are just given extra value in whatever the staking thing is.
Yeah.
So you don't really need them, but it'll give you extra.
Yeah, it's just like the simpler the better, right? Because like that ended up where we got with these vouchers, right? That like we're like, we need to keep adding utility for vouchers. It's like, we also need utility for SPS, and we need utility for DEC, and now we need utility for packs for some reason instead of just opening them. You know what I mean? It's like what we have to have, like that. Like, each one has its own. Like, if you just focus on like this token does this and make that worth it, then like that's where I'm. It's just they just keep stacking more and more onto this like tower of cards. In my mind.
I'm wondering if they call the building the shepherd's pie.
Nice.
Damn.
I mean, I think it's gonna be something like the treasure hoard, where it's like that's like your guild's like treasure hoard of all your stuff you're just throwing in there. like the
So,
treasury.
that opens up a different story,
got
like getting raids from other guilds, stealing your horde.
I got 17 titles. Let me just park them in my title
Horde
hall
and my treasury.
my treasure room. But yeah, nice little tangent we went on there. That was pretty cool. We haven't touched on really a
Segue.
single topic that we talked about we were going to. So
So
this is the beautiful part about going live and just talking with friends, is you really never know where you're going to end up going. But chat, we appreciate you guys. You guys are killing it tonight. Really feeding a lot of the conversation.
Gathering the
Appreciate
magic here with a nice segue. So thoughts on the cost rarity of the upcoming promo card. How much do you see? How much vouchers? What do you guys think?
Was he in on like that pre-conversation of ours? Like,
He was not. He was not. He was not.
Of what we have to talk about tonight. My man. Awesome promo. So promo, we were totally teased with a totally cryptic, twisty swirl ice cream reference that nobody had any idea what he was talking about. They had probably nothing to do with a dual colored card of sorts that they've hinted at for years. But that's what we're assuming. We're going to assume that this promo card is going to be a dual colored something. We got a little bit of differences in our opinions. I'm personally of the opinion that it's going to be a monster. I think it's going to be a monster of two colors. And I believe that they're doing this to try out the code, to kind of put some foundations in place to be able to build the future sets that are coming. I think they've done this oftentimes, like when they release a reward card set, it sometimes has abilities that you will find before the main set's released, just to make sure that everything's running smooth on a smaller data set. And so very happy that they're actually giving us a dual color card here early. I'm hoping that the price is, I'm hoping it's a common. I hope it's a voucher per card, and I hope the DEC is less than 1,000. Because I feel like that is the most inclusive promo that they could come up with. And by making it the most inclusive, it's going to get rid of a lot of assets. Like when we're looking at the reward card print runs, the reward card commons for all the Pellicor set was essentially 8 million, right?
Yeah.
So if you just open this up without a cap and you're just like, time it, you can buy as many as you want for X amount of days, like 7 days, 14 days, something like that. And they just cap it like, or they just say, yeah, it's like one voucher and some amount of DEC. It would be really interesting to see how many get printed, because there's going to be that arbitrage there of like, what's the card worth versus what, everybody paid for it. And as long as the price is less than or around $1, I think it's going to get a lot of people involved. So that's what
I'm aiming. If it's a common card and they sell it for 1,000 DEC, like you mentioned there, Rogue, that's a $400 common card. Exactly. That's very expensive.
That's very expensive for champion players. That's a $16 card for bronze players. Or I'm sorry, a $14 card for bronze players. It's a $60 card for silver players. You know what I mean? So, and that's where the majority of our player base is. The majority of our player base is down there. So, like, that's the big question is, like, so are you going to create something, which they've done many, many times, that'll get the whales to, like, scrape together funds to buy it? Or are you going to put the carrot to where bronze players might scrape together some stuff to buy it? Silver players scrape together some stuff to buy it. Like, that's where we have examples now. We have Waka, we have Lux, then we had Archimist Bear, and then we had Vruz, right? In my opinion, Vruz and Archimist were super successful cards. And so I would like to see something similar to that.
To go back to your point, though, about it being a monster, I think I'm like on the complete other side. I think there's a 95% chance it's a summoner. I don't even know if a dual color monster really makes sense. It's just a weak neutral card.
I was
Yeah,
gonna
pretty
say
much.
Empire is the same thing. Yeah, I don't
Yeah,
think they
but
do that
you
to
can
promo card.
stat it. You can stat it because like they nerf a lot of the neutrals because of that ability, right? So like now you don't have to nerf it as a neutral. You can just have it fully statted to go in multiple sets, you know, and so that just adds a little bit of flexibility there. Maybe give it some abilities that normally don't span sets, you know, or span colors. That would be really where I'm kind of looking at that monster going. But I see your point. I see your
But
point.
and so if it is a summoner, is it going to be a common summoner, or is it more likely to be a rare?
Rare.
And then, so yeah, if it's rare, then you got to figure out what the price would be for that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the previous promo summoner, was it the dragon one? I think was a common.
Yeah,
What was it?
the promo summoner was a common, but
Um,
I thought they've said that they're not doing promo summoners anymore.
they did make that statement, but I also think that they did Lux after that, right? So that's not really a true statement anymore.
Well, no, because I thought it was after Lux that they said like we're not maybe because it was
That's
Waka then Lux, and then they haven't gone back to it since.
Yeah, they also said they weren't going to do reward card summoners either, but here we are.
yeah. So
Yeah, so Chuni here is saying dual color means a summoner that allows you to play 2 splinters. Yeah, that's what we're
yes.
that's the way that they're currently testing. So like when they've hinted at that in the town hall before, they currently have some stuff programmed on the test servers internally, and they're playing with summoners that allow them to pick from 2 different splinters outside of dragon, right? You can go red and green or blue and black or something like that, right? So yeah, they're currently actively testing that, and so that's why, you know, a summoner is not out of the question. It just you know, it would be interesting there, but
So my guess or my prediction, I'll just make up, is 5 cost life and death summoner +1 health, -1 health.
a 2 health swing, huh? But
So
not on. Oh, I like that.
So it's like a life/death. So it adds 1 health to yours, subtracts 1 health from them, and then it'd be life and death.
Interesting.
Or it could be
I
a
like
life
that.
death summoner with life leech.
Mm-hmm. But you kind of like combine the two like the 2 lore type things of each side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
I like it.
yeah.
It's interesting.
Yeah,
certainly.
shields. I think life is pretty heavy on shields right now, but yeah, +1 -1, and that would honestly go good. It's like it's kind of interesting from a player's perspective. Like +1 -1 isn't comparable to like a +2, even though like the net difference in health is a 2 health difference. Buffing all of your stuff by +2 health is not the same as buffing by 1 and negging them by 1. Like that neg 1 on them is very, very important, especially in a lot of rule sets like Noxious Fumes, magic only, stuff along those lines. Negging that health is really important.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool. Yeah, that will mess with bots. Yeah, Chuni's got a point, and that's where,
for sure.
Like as long as they keep going that route, that'll be nice. But
I disagree.
you don't think the dual color?
No,
will mess
I don't
with the
think.
bots?
No, I mean, look, bots process information and complexity better than humans do over time, over a large sample size.
Mm-hmm.
Bots, after let's say 1 week, won't be like, all right, we've got our data set, we're good. And you as a human, are we going to be looking at those cards and all those summoners and going, man, what do I choose? What do I choose? You're going to be all confused, and it's not even a chance. I mean, the whole, I guess, I would say that the false narrative is, oh, if we make the game more complicated, you know, it's going to, you know, make bots, you know, less likely to succeed. And it's the exact opposite. The more you make the game complicated, all you have to do is give bots the data set, larger data set to analyze, and they will beat humans every day of the week.
Yeah, I looked at it more from the concept of like more cards that they actually have to be playing with. in order to effectively use dual color as kind of, so like that was kind of the approach that I took with it. Like it'll be maybe a little difficult to go just single splinter spam, right? If this is a viable strategy. But I definitely see your point. Like anytime we play this game, the more that we play, the more that they learn, and they'll pick up on it, eventually. But oops, sorry, brother. I took out one of your things. Which one were you highlighting?
The same one as you, I think. So
kind of like how Splinter Force uses 2 summoners and how there are runes that allow you to play different splinters. I can see this being adapted into Splinterlands. Dual purpose cards, summoners, summoners. Reminds me of Magic the Gathering. It's a cool dynamic. Yeah, I honestly, when Magic comes out with those sets that allow you to play tool color, or even what was it, Scars of, or it was the one dragon set, like, or a couple times when they've introduced the 3 color, right? And there's like a whole 3 color synergies, and those cards are like busted. It's crazy. Those are hard to play with, because to commit to a 3 mana or a 3 land deck is very difficult in that. But yeah, here it's pretty easy because there's no requirements. Like we're in auto battlers, so if you just give me permission to use 2 colors of cards, there's no downside to that, right? So yeah, it'll be interesting. But Tails, what do you think the card's going to be?
I'm with Virus. I think it's going to be a summoner. I don't think they make a promo card that's basically a bad dragon or a bad neutral card.
Bad. You guys have any?
No, it is bad.
Yeah,
look, it's bad.
What?
Like because a neutral card allows you to play it anywhere. A dragon is like usually a worse neutral card from a general usability perspective. A swirl monster card is basically limiting yourself to, instead of just dragons in your splinter, to just 2 splinters that you're forced to use that card on that team. So it's I don't think they do that with a promo card like this that they want to sell. I think they go with summoners and allow you to mix teams, not just mix a monster on one or the other team, that you choose. So I think they go big. I think they go with the promo card and they go summoner. I will say that for me, if they did like what Virus suggested, if they did a life and a death swirl, I would be super happy with that. And it could have like the worst abilities ever. Like it could have, whatever, +1 armor and +1 health or whatever. I could care less, because I would just play it just to be able to use life cards with death, because the death's weakness is up until Astral Entity, it really didn't have resurrect abilities. Yeah. And it didn't have repairs. It didn't have heals really that you could use effectively. Mm-hmm. If I can use the damage, the DPS output that death can bring to the table, because it's a lot of it's got like kind of like understated health and it's not super durable. But if I can then combine it with life's, sustainability, for me, I mean, that's a no-brainer. That just changes death's kind of ability to compete overnight. So
yeah.
So I'm not botting Tuny. I haven't got any bot of any form. I'm only playing my account on my own, my one account at this stage. I'm still the only one standing, I believe, of the lot of us. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm still playing tournaments mainly. I'm not doing any kind of assistance on tournaments. So, and that's on the RoguePatton account. I don't play tournaments on any of the other accounts.
And that was the other thing in the town hall, was that Matt had said, well, the community is free to prevent, or make a proposal to prevent bots in tournaments, but
there's like no tool.
Well, and if you looked at the chat from that, everyone was like, oh, we can prevent bots in tournaments. I didn't know we could do that. And I think that what he didn't say was, the community has to come up with the way that that's done.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's a proposal, right? So we've got to write up everything. Complicating matters, certainly. Coming up with the solutions.
Yeah. And I think the solution is something the team has to be a big part of. Like, it's going to have costs or other things that they'll have to agree on. So I think there's going to be a lot with, if there is a proposal, it's going to be one of those big community manager talk back and forth with the team and decide a plan.
Yeah. Yeah. So it'll be I don't know. It'll be cool if we see that. It was amazing how quick he was like, yeah, you could totally do that. And like, but yeah, there's nothing there. There's no foundation. There's no nothing. And so yeah, that was it's interesting because there's actually like the assistance that you have right now in tournaments, like, or at least the assistance that I know of that's available for everybody is just like it's like an offshoot like hand picker. It's not like automatically doing anything for you, and it's not even tied in. So I'm not technical enough to know how to guarantee that the person that is playing the game is playing the game and not having somebody pick their lineup for them.
You can't anymore. Well, there's a difference between botting and hand helpers and assisted tools or UIs, but there's basically no way in a tournament or a brawl that you can easily, with the current way the game's implemented, to reduce those or eliminate those. And that's just the reality of it. Like when Aftersound, I think, created his latest video saying, what can we do, to basically make tournaments pure? My response was, unfortunately, the only way you can do it is in-person tournaments, where you actually see the people playing the game and, you're there with them. Otherwise, there's no real way to do that right now, I don't think, technically.
And on a clean PC, right? So not a PC owned by the users, PC supplied by the tournament makers, right?
Yeah.
I wrote a small essay and a comment on that video about what I would think.
A small essay, huh?
Yeah. So, I mean, I gave what I think they'd have to do to prevent bots in tournaments and brawls, but there's costs for it. There's two different things. There's the hand helper and then the bot. And right now, how a hand helper works is that it's able to see what matches you're currently involved in. So if you prevented that, there should be no reason that the bot can go out and see what match you're currently playing. So if you got rid of that API that lets them see that match, then that prevents the hand helper. But the downside to that might be that maybe that's the call of starting your match. So if you were to refresh your page, you can start your match over again.
Mm-hmm.
But to get rid of that functionality for the hand helper, you might have to get rid of that functionality that lets you start the match over again. And so if you refresh your page, you just forfeit the match.
You surrender. Yeah.
So there's a give and take for everything to prevent bots. But in that proposal, if what that solution is, the community is going to have to kind of come together and see whether the benefits of getting rid of hand helpers and bots outweigh the functionality or playability that we lose in the game.
Yeah. No, I'm with you there. Yeah, so speaking of proposals, that was actually that was interesting that Matt wants to bring up DEC for Rift Watchers again. What do you guys think about that?
So I think the math, and I did a video on this, Rogue, and I'll actually give you the insights this time on what I thought. But so I thought, if you do the math, it makes sense if you assume that people agree with the price point of Rift Watchers packs at $5 a pack. Mm-hmm. If you can agree on that $5 a pack, the packs will sell for a stable amount, then we can move forward and say, it's a good idea, because the numbers, well, if you watch the video, it just makes sense. It does a lot for, the overall ecosystem, the economy. Now, that being said, again, you're looking at potentially $10 million in revenue. And I don't think anyone wants to burn $10 million for no reason but to burn it. That makes no sense. That's like, sorry if I a little blunt here, but that's just dumb. Like if someone said, "Hey, here's $10 million, just burn it out of existence and be done with it." No.
Didn't we tell the company to do that with their chaos packs?
Yes, we did, because
I wonder if this is payback.
That's
Is Matt coming at? This might be payback. Oh, he's like, oh, it was cool if we burned 10 million, but oh no, you can't. Oh man,
Yeah,
now I
well-
actually feel bad. No, I
Well-
don't, because I voted against it.
So here's the thing: you can get the same effect in the economy if you take that DEC and lock it up in the DAO. It's just like staking,
right.
staking
Yeah.
SPS. It takes it off the market, and you're basically, as a DAO, you're committing to not dumping it on the market anytime soon. You can use it for liquidity pools, to provide easy transactions and stuff like that, and just take it off the market, and that does the same thing. Now, long term, it doesn't burn it, so I mean it's not gone from existence. It can be used in the future for the DAO in a controlled fashion, which is understanding. But for the near term, for let's say the next year or two, it effectively takes it off the market just like burning it would. So from that perspective, I mean, it makes sense. It can do wonders for the flywheel and for the game economy. Again, I think the sticking point isn't if it's smart to redo it in DEC. The real sticking point will be, if you change it to DEC, will people buy it? Because you could say, well, Chaos Legion packs were selling in the store for $4 and people weren't buying those. So that's where you really have the question of value, and that's a different topic. Can you sell a 5-card pack for $5 when a common card in the pack is worth like 20 cents? That's the question.
Yeah, and realistically, like at DEC prices right now, it's still cheaper to go to the secondary market and buy a Riftwatcher pack with DEC. Like you're not. I don't think this will increase demand at all.
So for a player like me, this is the time that I've been waiting for. I've been kind of stuck in a catch-22. Is that I don't want to. I've learned from my Chaos Legion pack buying that it's better to wait, and I'll probably wait on Rebellion when it comes out for the cards to drop. But Rift Watchers hasn't dropped. So then the question is, well, once it goes for DEC, are the card prices going to start dropping? And so now I can start buying the cards.
If there's more supply, yes. But if there's no more supply, it won't.
Yeah. So then, but now I would know that I can start buying the packs. If I give it another month after it goes for DEC and no one's buying more packs, I can start buying the packs knowing that they're just going to hold their value. I'm not going to just take a huge loss like I did with Chaos Legion.
I mean, that's true, but like, are you concerned? Because like, looking at it right now, DEC would have to drop, what, to 0.8? Like, it would have to go down to like the 800 Splintoshis to compare to what it is to buy the pack on the secondary market. And so, like, even if they offer it in DEC, I can't see it affecting card prices because, that's where, like, it's not at a discount, really.
Yeah, but if they had done it before when it was 0.6,
yes,
Rift Watchers card values would have dropped off a cliff.
Yeah.
So you couldn't buy packs for SPS at the point where DEC was at 0.6 if you figured that they were going to just repropose this. So now if DEC is closer to peg, and they're selling the packs for close to that price, I know that I can buy Rift Watcher cards knowing that they're, unless they go with a promo to like a pack sale promo, that the card prices are probably going to stay somewhat close to where they're at or not drop nearly as much as they could have had they sold it for DEC back then.
Yeah. It's actually kind of interesting. Do you have some regret then from this pre-sale versus Chaos? Because in this pre-sale, I purchased Rift Watchers for 70 SPS per. Like, that's what the price of SPS was during the pre-sale, right? It pumped all the way to like 0.9 or even 10 cents or something like that. And so, yeah, it was only like 70 some cents per pack, or 70 some SPS per pack back in the pre-sale.
Yes, and I have no regrets on what I bought, but it's also because of how it's worked out, because it was only selling for SPS at the time. Mm-hmm. If they had started, like, when the first proposal went through of, we should start selling this for DEC, and just Rift Watcher card prices tanked right after that, then maybe I would have. But we didn't pass it, so they held their value. and they may continue to hold their value even if this proposal gets passed. So I think it's all, I have no regrets with the pre-sale for Rift Watchers.
Yeah, no, me neither. I loved my pre-sale purchase. But Damour, what do you think?
So, going to highlight here what Chuni says. I think the thing that affects card value most is when other cards with abilities come out, not supply. Since so many cards are printed by the company, I do not think Riftwatcher goes down much until another set appears. The price of most, sorry, I lost my place there. So the price of most of these cards mean reverts over time, in my opinion. So waiting to buy is best, given the mean reversion.
Yeah, in terms of just card prices, yeah, but I don't know. I when Rift Watchers released, I was doing very, very well in silver early, while my opponents didn't have Rift Watchers. While I was maxed out, like, I had a very big competitive advantage early by owning the cards. And so I would argue that having the cards this whole time has definitely earned me, enough to make up for whatever drop in price. And don't really have the math to prove that, and I probably never will, but that's the logic that I'm always going to bring, is that if I have the funds to get the cards on the onset, then I will, because I believe that my play and my earnings will be better with those cards on day one than waiting.
I hear you.
I don't like waiting for bottoms either. Like, it's just not. It's not a. Nah.
I would say that I'm not sure I 100% agree with that statement, only because supply, I think, is meaningful. With Chaos Legion having 5 times the print rate of Rift Watchers, I mean, there are cards in Chaos Legion that are better than Rift Watcher cards they're selling for a much higher value. So it's not like the meta is dictating the value of the card, or excuse me, the print rate. So
it's
like
supply.
Like Deep Lurker is probably one of the best cards that Water has, and look how cheap it is. And then you compare it to, something like, I don't know, an Ash Mirage for Fire, and it probably, I don't know what the Ash Mirage is, probably a little bit higher. And they're not the same value in my mind from a meta perspective. It's just that one has, is good, but has 1/5 the copies, right? So I think supply definitely has to do with the pricing of cards at some points. And you can't get away from that,
Yeah. Yeah, in short, for me, I am against this new proposal for DEC for Rift Watchers, mainly on the backs of burning as well. Like, if this was proposed in a way where, like, the DEC would go to the DAO, then I would be fine. I think that was part of, like, what I was originally hoping for, because I've seen all the math. The math hasn't changed from back then. If every Rift Watcher pack sells for DEC, we do not have enough DEC in circulation. Period. So, like, if the demand is high enough and those packs move, then sure. I think we're in a hoarding phase, though. I think we're in a hoarding phase. Land just got surveyed. The white paper says you need all of this DEC and you need it for your land. I think Rift Watchers is in the rear view, and people are going to hold on to their assets for land and for the new sets coming. Right, so the new studio set or Rebellion, whichever one. And I don't think switching this over to DEC will drive any demand for the product. So I would say don't waste your time. Just leave it in SPS, because it will sell. Even if there is no demand, if SPS increases, then Rift Watchers will sell, right? Like, it will just naturally go off the shelf as SPS price appreciates. So I would just say keep going with what they're doing on adding utility to DEC, and let's go that route, Because the other part that actually kind of weirded me out about this was the way that the way that he was like, yeah, this isn't the way, like, we like everything needs to burn, or like these mini sets, and they weren't supposed to be like this, and like we literally just passed a proposal that said, hey, we'll give you a crap ton of SPS out of the DAO if you make mini sets for us in the future that like replenish. Like, we just passed that, and now Matt was on a town hall being like, nah, let's not fund the DAO, and we don't really like that idea ever. Let's just burn, and that'll help the DAO, because then the dollar value increases. And it's like, oh, all right, cool, but like,
Mm.
is that how you're gonna help us every time? Like, is that what we're just always gonna
Burn?
Yeah. I want to also bring up another point that I thought was interesting. So when I made my video talking about the DEC for Rift Watchers proposal, what I thought was interesting is, and I don't know if the data is accurate because there's not really great reporting from Splinterlands on the DAO's holdings or treasury.
Yeah.
But we've sold 1 million packs of Rift Watchers, which in theory should be $5 million worth of SPS, plus all of the SPS that the DAO held previously before this, right, as part of the distribution and stuff, and yada, yada, yada. But if you look at what Splinter Cards seems to, I guess, illustrate as what's being in the DAO right now, it's, I think, 87 million SPS, which is roughly $2.4 million. And I understand that we took about $1 million out for the central exchanges, right?
Yes.
You put those two numbers together, 2.4 plus 1 million, it's 3.4 million.
We're still short.
Yeah, exactly. So if we sold roughly 5 million of SPS, and I know there's bonus packs, and I know there's price differentials in SPS between now and then, but it seems like for some reason we probably should have more than $2.4 million in the DAO. And that was a little disturbing for me when I looked at that. And I'm like, if now we're going to say that the DAO only holds 2.4 million, out of which we should at least have 5 million plus much more, and now we're going to burn 10 million of revenue, that really concerned me. So that's why I said, from my proposal side, I really think they need to give that DEC, if they do sell it in DEC, to the DAO, because again, it's not like we have like we're sitting on a ton of capital to continue this game moving forward. That DAO holding is shockingly low compared to what should be there.
Yeah. It's not entirely shocking for me, because I remember in the pre-sale we sold through 500,000, and like I said, we were 4x at least, if not 5x, for the first 500,000 that we sold. So like, where that should have been $2.5 million, like that has dropped by 4. Like, so that's what, 700,000 now, maybe something like that. Like that. So like the whole first part of Rift Watchers was when SPS was at 0.9, 0.10, 0.11. Or that's when I bought for like 70 SPS per pack, right? So that's kind of where I see that. So like that number being as low as it is, that's, makes sense. But yeah, I'm with you though. Like, that's part of, like, it's part of the pill that needs to be swallowed at this point, right? Everybody's hoarding SPS because they want it to increase. But at the end of the day, if we do spend it on Rift Watcher packs, then we're parking a lot of SPS into the DAO. And that would be good, because like the 500,000 that we sell today would get us 4 times the SPS than it did in the pre-sale, for the same 500,000. You know what I'm saying? So that's where I'm more on the path of just let it ride. Like, just leave it there, leave it on the shelf. Who cares? Who cares
Let it stay
if
on the
it
shelf.
chills there? Leave it on the shelf.
Yeah.
Well,
So I expect that the proposal is going to get broken into 2 proposals. One is for should it go to DEC, and the second is should that DEC be burned, or should it go to the DAO? There might have other stipulations on if it goes to the DAO, like, when it sells, or if they just hoard it, and then we make proposals in the future about how to use the DEC, which is how I'd prefer it. I'd prefer that they don't have like a method that it starts selling immediately once DEC gets to peg.
Yeah.
But the other thing too is that this will be the first experiment. This will give the flywheel on roids effect of, if this is happening at the same time as land's kind of coming out, and you have cards going on there, you have all the DEC going into land at the same time, you have DEC going into Riftwatcher packs. You're going to see if that flywheel, they're going to blast it off immediately of how that flywheel goes.
Yeah, I guess just having it there, if people want it, and I guess that's the big question, is if people want it. So,
and speaking of people wanting stuff, maybe we can address one other topic in relation to Chaos Legion packs and Riftwatcher packs and values. We just sold out of Chaos Legion packs. We're trying to find a way to sell the remaining Riftwatcher packs, and lo and behold, we've got this studio promo set that's waiting in the wings that might get signed, this week or next. That could be another 2 million new packs on the market. And the question is, are we shooting ourselves in the foot just to take an opportunity that, might be cool, but does it add new players?
Yeah.
Maybe not. But what does it do? It hurts the appreciation of Chaos Legion pack values. It hurts the selling of Riftwatchers because people aren't going to buy Riftwatchers. They're going to want to buy this new set instead. So Riftwatchers sits on the shelf. And the question becomes is, if you don't have new players and you introduce more supply, where's the money coming from?
And there's
buy the stuff.
There's another one too, because they said that they might do a pack promo for tower defense in the thing that was released today.
Okay.
What?
I'm against just releasing packs constantly, right? Just because it just doesn't make any sense.
It does from a game perspective. Like, if you don't have to balance an economy, it makes sense for the game. You need new stuff in the game all the time. People's attention span is flipping terrible. And I guess this is where I'm at. I've been waiting for 2 years for fucking Untamed to rotate. Daddy doesn't want to play with Untamed anymore. I've committed not to buying it. Like, let's go. Like, I don't want to wait anymore. So, then imagine that we got to spend another 3 years with Chaos Legion in just chilling. Like, what if we have to play Chaos Legion meta for flipping ever? Like, who would play that game? You know what I mean? It's not chess. Like, you just, you need new cards. This is a game. This is a trading card game. Trading card game.
You're
none
not
of the
happy
big ones.
With the 1 year release, you think that's too slow? Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm saying a 1 year release is great.
Oh, okay.
We're 2 years since we've released anything.
Yeah, okay, so it's a slow start, but I mean, going forward, there's going to be one every year, right? So,
they haven't started it yet. That's
it hasn't started yet.
Prove to me they can do one a year.
Right?
I don't think they can. Like, they don't have the agility to make a card set every year.
Right now, we're talking about 3 other possible sets. We're talking about 3 other possible sets releasing right now. So
yeah, I disagree.
That's
they've talked about Rebellion for a year.
Look, the Sawan reward cards are probably what Rebellion was. They just released it as Sawan reward cards.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
This new promo card set is going to be just another Riftwatcher set. So that's already Rebellion plus Riftwatchers that you're going to get before Rebellion even hits. So they're just moving the goalposts, basically. They're saying, well, Rebellion will come out maybe next year now, but they've already introduced basically Rebellion plus the Rebellion expansion before June of this year.
Yeah.
So to your point,
so I guess you're validating my point. Like, we do need new cards. We are getting them. And this is a good thing.
I don't know if it's a good thing. I agree that we're getting new cards, Rogue.
We're getting new cards. That much I can agree with. Yeah, I don't know if it's a good thing. I don't know if it's a good thing.
It's fine for the game. Look, I agree with Rogue. It's good for the game. It's good for playing. Yeah, new stuff is good.
Yeah.
The problem is if you have more new stuff and you have oversupply, you don't have enough players. there's the other part of the game is the NFT part that's supposed to add value and scarcity, and we have no scarcity and we have no value. So yes, the game is getting, variety, and there's all kinds of new stuff in the game, but it's a balance, right? And I don't know if we've hit that balance yet.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. So I would say hopefully, we'll see. I think this promo is going to be nice. If we can get some details on this set, like I just hate Aggie did this with the Mayweather card too. Like I felt like we were just hung on like the end of like just like, hey, yeah, oh man, we're gonna sign.
There's something. There's something.
There's another promo coming. Just kidding. So like I feel like we've talked about this new set now for a minute, and I don't know when the first time he teased it, but I feel like it's been a month or two at this point. And so I'm ready just to try to get something on paper in preparation and try to figure out what's going on there. Because that's where I want Untamed to rotate. I don't care what does it, because this is the other thing that I worry about. I've thought about this, is in order to have two formats, like a legacy format and a more recent format, right? They have to be consistent with their timelines, and they have to be consistent with their print runs within these. So like right now, they've blown Chaos out of the flipping water. There's 3 reward sets, a main set, and a mini set, all within the realm of Chaos Legion. 5 or 6 promos, 7 promos. Like there's so many cards that will rotate with Chaos Legion that it doesn't compare to the amount of cards that are going to rotate with Untamed. You know what I mean? So then what is Rebellion? What is that set going to look like? Is it also like, this is why I asked in one of the town halls, I said, hey, is your studio set going to be Rebellion or Chaos? If they say Chaos, I'm going to flip, because that's too much. Because then all of a sudden they'll just be like, all right, yeah, here's Rebellion. And then 1 year later, we've got 75% of the cards that ever exist are going to rotate. Like, Chaos is huge. And it needs to, like, they need to, whatever's next needs to be Rebellion.
Yeah, Chaos plus Rebellion is going to look like current Wild in number of cards.
100%. 100%. Yeah, so I almost wonder if they would just draw that line. Like, I don't even know if you rotate after that. Like, I don't know what that's going to look like. But in terms of like a traditional old and new, there's got to be some consistency in their sets, and they are not consistent right now. They've used this card border a lot. But anyway.
Some perspectives from the chat. It's a good opportunity to build a community base. They are sacrificing scarcity and high value for potential volume. Like I said, the difference with SPL is that it has a dedicated player base that will eat up whatever comes our way.
Nom. He's not wrong.
All the crying, for example, in Mav chat doesn't stop the purchase of assets.
That's interesting.
I think it's too convenient and easier to play physical cards
than physical cards. Yeah.
Than physical cards. Like Bitcoin is easier to handle than physical gold. That is utility and value add.
Well, and this is what Aggie posted something on Twitter recently about how somebody it come out recently that people in the printing factories for some of the most recent Pokemon sets are like, maybe it's been happening for a while, but they've actually been taking some of the most expensive cards off of the print line. And so like it's been messing with the distributions in the actual packs. And there's people with just stacks of like the most expensive stuff. And like that is the beautiful thing about the trading card game on the blockchain is
they can't do that.
Full transparency of the prints and distributions. Like that is, and from commons all the way up to legendaries, that is super important in a trading card game so that you understand like your odds, you understand what you're buying, how much of it is out there. And, you know, it's everything that we have here is way better than the physical aspect of the game, except the ability to play this game physically.
Yes, that is something that we're losing.
I need to be able to travel to Virus's house and beat him in a game in person, stare at him in the eyes, and give him a real in-person nana nana boo boo. That's what I need to do.
Yeah.
Well, that'll happen as the economy takes off here and we get more value. If SPS is not at 3 cents, if SPS is like 15 cents, you have more of a reason to go travel to Atlanta, Chicago, wherever. And the community has, or the Philippines as an example, and the community has reason to travel and support that and actually throw those independent events,
tournaments,
and host those. Yeah,
exactly.
So we'll definitely, I think, get there to that point, but right now it's just not super meaningful to do that.
Yeah. I'm a little envious of Mango's bar. Like Mango over here runs Splinterlands events in his flipping restaurant.
He does.
Like, I wish I wish I had somebody locally that was just like, every Tuesday night.
Come play some Splinterlands. Exactly. I love it. I would be there. I would be there if I had a local.
Get some wings, like wings and Splinterlands. Let's flipping go.
That sounds like fun to me.
Yeah. I'm envious. That was a good people's guild when he was talking about that. I was like, man, if I'm ever there, I'm swinging by.
Oh, I'm definitely making a trip there sometime soon.
Nice. Yeah, honestly though, like it was funny you brought it up, Tails. It's like that incentive to go. Like there wasn't an incentive to go to Splinterfest, but oh my goodness, was it totally worth it? And now physically in hindsight, like that Lux Vega is totally everything about Splinterfest was totally worth it at this point. So the company just got to tell me where they're going and what we're doing, and I'll be there. Like that's kind of where I'm at now. I'm that guy. It's just like, all right, let's go, show up, party. It's great. Look at Virus.
That is great.
Oh, for sure. I can't wait to have that experience again. Mm-hmm. And I hope it grows. I hope there's more people come and are able to participate in it, because that experience can't be beat with playing online. It's being able to talk to people all the time. I mean, like these conversations right here, to be able to talk face to face and
exactly
the whole day. It was the coolest thing.
Yeah. It really
that
was.
For me has always been the most important part about any game, right? Is the community around it, right? And that for me is what Splinterlands brings, right? It brings that community closer.
Well, we've had great conversation. It's been an hour and a half. You guys have been awesome. The chat has been awesome. I appreciate you guys, but we are gonna have to close it up tonight because I gotta go to bed. I gotta work and such. But guys, thank you very much. Damour, do you have any final thoughts for our audience? Oh my God, Aftersound just showed up. Get out of here.
The party's starting.
Just missed it. Yeah.
Damour, final thoughts.
Invite him to the after party.
Yeah.
Jeez. No, I gotta go to bed. I said. Last time we invited that man, I was up for like 1 o'clock in the morning or something before he was like, he was the bigger man. He's like, oh, I gotta go to bed. And it was like 11 o'clock for him. It was 1:30 for me. I was like, oh yeah, now you gotta go to bed. I should have been in bed. Whatever. Anyway, Damour, final thoughts.
Stay awesome, guys. Love the game. Love where we're at. Enjoying the whole land aspect of it now. Starting to dig into the whole, this type of monster works well on this type of land. I haven't really dug into all of the details yet, but exploring it now. Interested.
Yeah. Virus?
Still just excited for all the things that are to come and the things that keep on getting announced, and just got to get my calculator out so I can figure out my land.
Yeah, that's exactly where I'm at the moment.
Sales?
Yeah, I guess I would say, kind of going with the Aftersound theme, April was supposed to be a quiet month with nothing happening. And if this is a quiet month, then wow, look out for an exciting month. So yeah, good stuff.
Yeah. And I am going to be the proud owner of a new Chuny NFT after this tournament. I am finally in one.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Finally made it. So we are going to win one of these NFTs and get in that exclusive club. I'm really looking forward to it.
What is
I
the
gotta
latest?
Whole
What is the
cart
latest
before the horse?
president?
It's actually not a president right now. I
it's
think
not.
it was a rat or something. No, it was Egyptian.
Egyptian.
Egyptian theme,
The Egyptian.
so, yeah.
Walk like an Egyptian.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Walk like an Egyptian. So yeah, top 20. And so like that's the thing. I look at that and I'm like, top 20 out of 100. Like I'm consistently in the top 20% of a tournament. But watch me like botch this one entirely. Just like competition is gonna be great. But yeah,
So there's an
we
after
talking?
party.
Yeah, and we were talking earlier today about that whole cart before the horse thing.
exactly right.
You just jinxed yourself.
Celebrate my wins like Babe Ruth pointing out to and then like strike out. That's
Yeah.
it's happened before. It's happened
That's
before. But
not
no,
good.
hopefully this is my first Chuny tournament. After I gave him crap on the last one, I actually missed the second People's Guild tournament. Signed up and then like I don't know, or maybe I didn't sign up. I like just missed it entirely. And I was like, crap. And so finally scrolled, saw this one, and I was like, let's go. Chuny tournament. I need to just start like he even DM'd me on the last one too. He was like, hey, I was like, sweet. And I just didn't do it. I was like, crap. I am just the worst. So hopefully
Terrible.
get my first Chuny NFT, get in that elite community so I can start beating up on people. But yeah, very excited, guys. People's Guild here too. Awesome. Great to see you guys, to see us off. Thank you very much.
Thanks
But
for saying goodbye.
yeah, looking forward to your guys' podcast tomorrow. Hopefully, hey, who is it? Tell me real quick. Give me a
Who's the
spoiler.
guest? Let's
So that
do a
way I don't
spoiler.
have to
Get some
like
alpha.
not know. Wake up in the morning unknown. Tell me who it is.
Silence.
Yeah,
Silence.
he's just like he's
ignoring
gone
us.
at this
No,
point.
no alpha for you.
No alpha
Denied.
for you.
Watch the podcast, Rogue.
Yeah,
Yep, you gotta
exactly.
watch it.
Gotta
Yeah,
watch
well,
it.
you gotta listen. I do all the time. These guys, they clowned me though on that. Like I was mad. I refreshed my podcast so much after that week of Easter or whatever. I didn't know they were taking a break, and I was just like, I'm like, where's my podcast? And it wasn't showing up. And they did a tournament with Chuny, and I was like, what? You do one tournament, you stop doing podcasts? Jeez, goofs. But yeah, anyway. Joseph John, head narrative. Let's go. Dude, those narrative ones are great. Oh, sweet. Looking forward to that. Go and get the People's Guild podcast tomorrow. They do a great job. Always looking forward to it. So with that, we are signing off. It was a pleasure hanging out with you guys tonight, and we will see you guys next time. GG, everyone.
Later, guys.
Cheers, guys.